And just come to a comfortable seat. If sitting cross-legged isn't for you, you can try hero's pose with your kneeling. Whatever it is, make it easy, make it comfortable. So just take a few moments to wiggle around. His shoulders, roll them up to your ears. Gently squeeze your shoulder blades and let them slide down the back. Just begin to acknowledge that there's stress and tension in the body. Let your hands come, palms down, rest on your thighs. And just begin to breathe and notice your breath. You don't have to control it. Just know that you're doing it. Notice the motion of your belly. Notice the rib cage. And let's begin to deepen the breath. Intentionally breathing in through the nose, feeling the crown of the head rise, just lengthening through the spine. And exhale long and slow through the nose, slowly drawing your navel to your spine. Inhale, lengthen up, long deep breath. Exhale long and slow. We'll try and breathe into the rib cage. So rather than just have the belly breath, we're going to breathe in and feel your rib cage expand out to the sides, maybe up between the shoulder blades, the top of the back, and a long, slow exhale. You're welcome to lower your gaze, gently shut your eyes. And just come into this space, 1 hour, doing what feels good for your body. Breathing in a little bit longer with intention. And breathe out, long, slow exhales, calming the body. We have no rush. Release the tension. As you continue to breathe up into your rib cage, notice your shoulders. And begin to notice the space you can create when you deepen the breath. When you slow down and bring focus and intention to your actions. Let's take 3 more deep breaths. And on your next inhale, see if you can breathe up and gently feel your collarbones rise. Taking advantage of your full capacity. And a long, slow exhale through the nose. Inhale through the nose, crown of the head rises. Exhale. Let it go. 1 more deep breath. Inhale through the nose. And exhale. Let your head fall forward. Chin comes down to your chest. And just let your head be heavy. You can flutter your eyes open. Just notice that space at the base of your neck, the top of your back. And the tension in your shoulders. And don't force anything, but just let your head be heavy. And inhale, let the crown of the head rise, and then let the right ear fall to the right shoulder. And just find that sweet spot probably on the left shoulder, base of the neck. And you can tuck your chin slightly and just adjust to where your body feels it today. You're welcome to pause at any point and just let the neck have some space. No rush, no forcing. And if you're looking for a little more, definitely this is optional. You can raise your right hand, extend your fingertips out, and then bring the fingertips to the left temple. Just gently let the weight of your arm find it. And play around with the tuck of your chin. Everyone's neck is pretty unique. Just don't overdo it. I'm very sensitive when we're on computers too much or snorkeling too much. It's just involved in everything, so just respect it. And on your inhale, help your head up to the center and switch sides. Let your left ear fall to the left shoulder. And just let the weight of your head, let gravity assist, as it always does, even when you're on your way to the ground. And just a real subtle chuck to the chin can really change a lot of things. You can really zero in on those, those sensations that you're good or bad. They just are. So sometimes you just need to find that stretch. And take a moment, not rushing to the next thing. And if you want more, extend the left hand out and let the fingertips rest on the right temple. Welcome to tuck your chin. You put it back, just finding the space. Letting your right shoulder be heavy. Your legs are nice and balanced. And as you're ready, inhale and help your head up to center and release the hand. Inhale, palms face the sky. Raise your arms up. And then exhale, palms down, lower them down. We'll do that again. Inhale, arms rise. And exhale, lower them down. Inhale, palms rise. This time we're going to bend the right elbow and push our head back so it's pushing against the arm a little bit. And then bring the left hand to the left elbow or the right elbow. And you can gently pull down, opening up that tricep. And push your head back into the arms so you're not stressing the neck. Inhale and lengthen up through the crown of the head. Feel the balance between both sides of the body. Not forcing anything. And on an inhale, raise your arms. Exhale, palms down, lower them down. Notice the difference in the shoulders. Inhale, palms face up, raise them up. Left elbow bends. Push your head back slightly as your right hand comes to the left elbow. And then just pull. No yanking, no forcing, but a little extra to emphasize the stretch that you want. You notice where the shoulders go, and if you're overcompensating, and just ease off. You don't have to yank. Just enjoy the space. Take the moment. And inhale, arms rise. And exhale, let's bring the left hand to the right knee. And then just let the right hand fall behind you. A little gentle twist. Inhale, lengthen up. Crown of the head rises. And then as you exhale, draw the right low rib cage back behind you as you gaze over your shoulder. Legs are nice and steady. Left hip is heavy. Just breathing nice and slow. And inhale, arms rise, unwind. Exhale, right hand to left knee. And then let your left hand go behind you. Inhale, lengthen up. Then draw your left low rib cage back behind you as you gaze over your opposite shoulder. your left shoulder. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, look a little farther over the shoulder. Inhale, arms rise, unwind. And exhale, reach forward with your arms. Let them land wherever they may. Let your hips be heavy. Let your forehead come down. Feel that space between your shoulder blades and the base of your neck. Just let your head be heavy. Let's walk our hands over to the left. And so you can reach your right fingertips just beyond your left hand. And feel that right hip being heavy. Your right side body opening up. And inhale, walk your hands back to center. And then over to the right. Letting your left fingertips go beyond the right hand. And being heavy through that left hip. And walk your hands back to center. And walk them in, sitting up. And take a moment and recheck in with the body, coming back to the breath. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. An invisible string attached to the ceiling, just gently pulling up. And exhale, long and slow. Let's remove our block or any other props we have, and we'll come onto our backs. We'll just come and lay for a moment. So wiggle about, let your spine unwind. And let your feet be about mat width apart, and let your knees knock together. And just notice the space in your back, where the distribution of the weight is. So as we breathe, the low back, there's a space under there, there's a natural curve to the spine. Notice the breath filling the rib cage. And then let's walk our feet so they're within the hip width of the body. And we're going to raise our right leg and push it up to the sky. Flex your toes back towards the body and push up to the heel. So you can take your right hand and place it on your quadricep and feel it really engaged as you push up through the heel. And notice the sacrum, that little space at the low back. And notice how it's shifted. Pushing up through the heel. And then exhale, lower it down. And we'll raise the left leg. So left hand goes to your left thigh. Extend that left leg to the ceiling, pushing out to the heel. Notice if there's tension in the jaw. Maybe you can tuck your chin slightly and lengthen the back of that neck. Reaching up to the heel. Notice that quadricep engaged. And then place it down. And we're going to bring both feet up, calves parallel to the earth. And just stay here for just a moment. And notice the space of the small back, the low back. We're just going to bring the right toes down. Just keep that low back in contact with the mat. And then go to your left foot and tap the toes down to the mat. And then gently bring it up. And this is generally fairly easy, but you can feel your core is engaged as you push the low back down into the mat. And just move at your own pace. If you're in doubt about the pace, just slow down, err on the slow side. And if this is relatively easy for you, you're always welcome to stay here, but extend the legs straight up and take a moment and notice the low back. Push that low back into the mat. And we're going to extend lower the right leg and let it hover 3 inches. And exhale, bring it up. And then move to the left leg. And if your low back starts peeling off, go back to the toe taps. You're not quite ready. But this is feeling good. Just nice and slow. Generally, the harder movement, the upward, the lifting, is on an exhale. We'll just lower down, let it hover for a moment, and exhale, bring it up. And if this is really easy for you, you can try the double legs and lower them down. But there's no obligation. Let it be nice. Be nice to yourself. More is not always better. And one more. Wherever you're at, push that low back down. Exhale, bring it up. Hug your knees. And rock side to side across the sacrum. And let's just take a moment and bring the soles of our feet together. And so whatever's good for your low back, for your body today, so you can walk your feet a little further from the hips or draw them closer. And just let the legs relax. Continuing to breathe. Breathe up into the rib cage. And scan through the body, looking for places of tension. There's quite a few usual suspects. Always the jaw and the muscles around the eyes, shoulders, the glutes. It's usually my left hand, my opposite hand. Curiously, frequently find it in a fist. It's not good or bad, but it's just nice knowledge to have, knowing your body. Just breathe and stay in this room. Stay focused on your act. And as we're ready, bring the knees back up. We're going to extend that left leg out and bring that right knee up to the chest. Clasp your hands around your knee and move it back and forth. Bring it to the outside, bring it to the inside. So not coming into a full twist, but just working that hamstring. And as you're ready, maybe you can bring your knee out to the outside so it gets around your rib cage and then draw it up towards your armpit. And find some action to keep your left leg active. So maybe you can push out through the heel. You can feel that quadricep engage. Just really enhancing. And as you're ready, we're going to take the left hand to the outside of the right knee. Let our right arm go out and tee out. And then just draw the right knee over to the left, coming into a twist. You can lift the hips to help the spine unwind. The right shoulder is heavy. You gaze over that right shoulder or up at the ceiling if it's more comfortable for your neck. And then inhale. Come onto your back and extend that left leg. You can come to Shavasana for a brief moment and just notice the body fully supported by the earth. Breathing deep. We're really good at yoga. It's amazing how wonderful we are. There's a lot of talent in this room. And maybe you can check in with the neck and see if you can tuck that chin just slightly and create the space for yourself. And as you're ready, we're going to activate that right leg and draw the left knee up, clasping your hands. And however you clasp them, put the opposite pinky on the outside. So unclasp and just redo it. Find that balance. It'll feel funny. And then you can work your hamstring. So draw your knee to the outside and then to the inside. And your right leg is slightly active. It's not trembling, but it's not limp either. 40, 60% on. And as you're ready, draw that left knee out to the left of your rib cage, and then draw it up into your armpit, waking up those hamstrings. And as you're ready, release the a little bit. Take your right hand to the outside of your left knee and draw your right knee over, lifting your hips, letting the spine unwind, keeping the left shoulder heavy so we can come off the mat a little bit, but you keep the form nice and light. Gaze goes over the opposite shoulder or up at the ceiling. Inhale. Draw it back to center. Give yourself a hug. Then draw your hands, place them behind the knees. And just take a couple of gentle rocks, letting your feet hover and rolling back, not all the way onto your neck, but just waking up that spine. And the next time we come forward, we'll try and find a hover into boat. So have your hands behind your knees and then broad into the chest. So draw your shoulder blades together so you feel the breath across your chest, but you're not contracted too much in the back, nice and open. And maybe you can bring your legs up to parallel. And maybe you can release the hands. Or in extreme motion, you can straighten the legs. Breathing nice and deep. And exhale, roll back. And we'll come into one more boat. So you can take as many rolls or stillness as you like. And then find that balance. Broad across the chest and the upper back. Extending the legs, releasing the hands, or just staying right where you're at. And one more roll back. And then we're going to cross our ankles and come on to all fours. So however we get here, we'll arrive and place our hands down on the mat in tabletop position. Nice neutral spine. So look down at your hands, spread your fingers nice and wide, and then draw those pinky fingers in 3 millimeters. Your big toes can be touching behind you, and your hips are right over your knees. And then just gently lean forward and lean back and just see if we can find the center. Lean to the right and the left. And notice that weight distribution. And then let's circle over the wrists. Pushing down evenly through the hands. And when I say evenly, I mean push down to the base of the index finger and the base of the thumb, because the body's natural disposition seems to be put all the weight into the pinky side and the wrist. So if you can balance that out with a little intention. And now let's circle the opposite way around the wrists. Maybe you can feel the weight pushing into each fingertip as you go through. And maybe you can't. It just feels nice to move the body. And then come to stillness, nice flat back. And let the belly drop. Inhale, and the crown of the head rises at the top of the breath. And then exhale, slowly arch the back, squeeze the glutes, pushing the hips forward. And release. So find your own cat-cow, moving with your own breath. Noticing the weight distribution in your hands. Full breadth of the movement of the shoulders. The heaviness of the head as it dangles. Wherever you're at. And if you're ready, if your body's ready, you can bring your hips into circles and bring it into a nice, maybe, I wouldn't quite call it a dance, but a dance. We'll dance a little bit. And you can push it back towards child's pose. Bring it forward. And then go the opposite direction. Finding that balance. Noticing the weight distribution in the hands. And as you're ready, put toes together, spread your knees wide towards the edge of the mat. Let your hips sink down, walking the hands forward. Let your forehead drift towards the mat. Let it be supported. And shift the weight towards your hips. Breathing nice and deep. And inhale. Come back to tabletop. Tuck the toes. Push down into the hands. Raise the hips. And come into your downward dog. Nice deep bend in the knees. And pedal it out. Bend one knee. Walk the dog. Bend the other knee. Just open up those calves and the hamstrings. And now we're going to pull forward into plank. So just inhale, draw your shoulders over your wrists. Let your hips be heavy. And you're welcome to drop your knees down. You're working the same muscles. And let's bend the elbows 1 inch. And then straighten them. And breathe into that center back between the shoulder blades. Really puff it up. And exhale. Raise the hips, downward facing dog. Pushing down evenly through the hands, especially the base of that index finger. Distributing the weight. And inhale, pull forward to plank. Letting the hips be heavy. Lifting up through the back of the knees. We're pushing out through the heels and extending the spine through the crown of the head. Exhale, downward facing dog. Raise the hips. Pushing down through the hands. And just bend one knee and the other. Feel that side body lengthen. Letting the head be heavy. Now we're going to bend, have a nice bend in the knees. And just shift both heels to the left. You feel that right side body really as much as you want, nothing forced. Inhale, let the hips come back up, bend the knees, exhale, both heels over to the right, opening up that left side body. Inhale, return downward facing dog. Exhale, lower the knees, and let your head come down, child's pose. You can draw your hands back towards your heels. Let the forehead mat rest. Let your hips be heavy. Let it be easy. If you want, you can gently tuck your toes under and just roll the weight onto the crown of your head. So you're controlling it with your hands. You hold back. You're watching that sensitive neck. Maybe you can access the back of that neck in rabbit pose. Controlling the weight. So if it's too much, just ease off. If you want a little more, you can lean forward. And then come back, untuck the toes. And let's come on to our bellies. And draw ourselves forward. Let's find a little Sphinx pose. So your thumbs are about touching. Your elbows are about under your shoulders. And if it's uncomfortable for your neck, you can walk your elbows forward a little bit. Or you can stay right there. And notice that there's a wiggle in your forearms. The flesh moves. So just see if you can draw your elbows away from each other and take up that slack. And wiggle the hips. Now we're going to push down with the elbows. And then isometrically, without moving them, we're going to draw the elbows back towards the hips. So you're kind of dragging yourself forward. Nice broad chest. And reach forward with your nose and see if you can draw the nose up. Nice back bend. Arms, elbows pushing down. And exhale. Stack the hands, one on top of the other. Let the forehead come down. You can wiggle the hips side to side. If you want, you can bend the knees and let both feet come to one side and fall to the other. Whatever feels good. Treat your low back with respect, and it'll help you out too. And as you're ready, let the feet come back down, tops of the feet come down. We'll come into a second Sphinx. So draw the elbows under, push down with the forearms, find that nice stability, and then draw the elbows back towards the hips like you're drawing yourself forward. And then lean forward with the nose, and then create that space as you raise the crown of the head without crunching the back of the neck. And as you're ready, stack your hands the opposite direction, or the opposite one on top, and let it come down. Wiggle through the hips. You can bend your knees and have windshield wipers, whatever the body calls for. And let the feet come down. Draw the hands under the shoulders, tuck the toes, push up through plank, and then raise the hips, downward facing dog. Push down to the hands, come up to your tippy toes, and reach your heels down towards the earth. Bend your knees deeply. We'll have your gaze come between your hands, and then take 10 baby steps as you walk your way forward to the front of your mat. And fold. Nice bend in the knees. Just let your arms dangle. Or maybe you can grab opposite elbows and just bend one knee and then the other. Neck is heavy. Just find space in those shoulders. Space for yourself. And allow yourself to just be here. Maybe you can bring the weight forward into the toes a little bit more, and then rock gently back into the heels, and sway to the left and the right. Just let yourself have the time. Let your head be heavy. Just make sure and shake it yes, and shake it no. As you're ready, bend deeply through the knees. Ready, lift up through the arms. And come to standing. Bring your hands together. Let them float down. And bring your hands to heart center. Thumbs to the base of the sternum. Inhale, crown of the head rises. And exhale. Fully let it go. Inhale, fingertips reach down, out, and up. Gaze follows the hands. Exhale, lead with the crown of the head and fold. Nice bend in the knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands come to the thighs. Crown of the head reaches forward. Shoulder blades and elbows squeeze in just slightly and fold. Inhale, nice bend in the knees. Arms rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands come to the thighs. Squeeze those shoulder blades gently together and fold. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more forward fold. Inhale, fingers reach down and out and up. Exhale and fold. Hinge at the hips. Nice bend in the knees. Sweep your fingers against the earth. Inhale, halfway lift. Crown of the head extends forward. and fold. Inhale, arms rise. Keep that bend in the knees. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to bring our hands into a, just interlace our hands and keep our thumbs and index fingers out. So inhale, arms rise, and then draw the shoulders away from the ears. Notice the rib cage if you're coming into a back bend. Draw your ribs down towards your hips. Find that extension so your upper arms are squeezing your ears just a little bit. Nice stability through the legs, nice and strong. Pushing down to the heels. We're going to lean to the right. So legs are nice and stable. Left leg is rooting into the earth. And lean to the right. Check in with that rib cage. And inhale. Float back to center. Bring your opposite pinky to the outside. So switch your clasp. Find that space. And root down to that right leg as you lean to the left. Breathing nice and deep up into the rib cage. And inhale, return to center. Exhale and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Shoulder blades squeeze together. Crown of the head reaches forward. And fold. Nice bend in the knees. Now we're going to drop the seat and come into a chair pose. So just bring that bend to the knees and see if you can bring the weight into your heels. Arms rise alongside the ears and rotate, spin your pinkies in towards each other so you can feel the back broaden, the upper back. So use your whole arm. Bring the weight into your heels a little bit more. And make sure all 10 toes, push them down, find that balance. Inhale, straighten the legs and fold. Take a round of breath, whatever your body's calling for, releasing through the head. And we'll come into a chair pose again. So let your belly rest on your thighs, bend through the knees, raise the arms. Bring the weight back into the heels. Breathing nice and deep into the rib cage. One more deep breath, finding that full length of spine from your tailbone all the way through the crown of the head. Exhale, lengthen and fold. We'll come into a standing series now. We're going to end up in triangle. Nice space creator there. So here we are in our forward fold. And let's bend our knees and place our hands outside of the feet. And let's step our right foot way back. And checking our left knee is stacked right over the left ankle. And then wiggle through the hips. So you want to get them facing the short end of the mat. And probably bring the right hip forward and left hip slightly back. And then push out through that back heel. Push down into that front heel. And squeeze the inner thighs together. Here we are, low lunge. Let's lower that back knee. Untuck the back toes. Anjaneyasana. So the left knee is still stacked over. The inner thighs are squeezing together. Just keep that stability. Push down to the top pinky toe side of that back foot. Root down through the front heel. And then inhale. You bring your hands up to your knee. Just take a moment. Create that space. You're nice and stable here. You can inhale, arms rise, and draw those pinkies in towards each other so you can feel the upper back opening. Breathing nice and deep. And as you're ready, just let that left hand fall down next to the body and reach up and over with that right arm. Finding that special groin stretch. Breathing nice and deep. And inhale, raise that left arm up and straighten that right leg. So just adjust as you need it. Sometimes a block is nice, but if you don't have it, we'll improvise. And flex those left toes back towards the body. Engage that quadricep. Inhale, crown of the head rises. Exhale. Keep the length through the spine as you lean forward, finding that back of the leg stretch. Let's walk our hands around to the front of us. We'll come into a wide-legged forward fold, Prasarita Padottanasana. And so wherever you're at, you don't have to overextend. You can walk your feet in a little bit. Just find a nice fold. Let your head be heavy. Shake it yes and shake it no. You can walk your heels of your hands in line with the heels of your feet. You can gently rock your weight forward and back, fine-tuning your personal stretch. Just breathing here. And as you're ready, we're going to walk our hands over towards the right and do the low lunge on the opposite side. So your hands frame the right foot. Left heel is reaching back, right knee is stacked over the right ankle. And wiggle through the hips. Control your left hip slightly forward and right hip slightly back to keep them generally towards the short end of the mat. Energy pushing out through that left heel, pushing down into that front heel. And then we're going to lower that back knee on top of the toes. And stabilize, pushing down to the top of the back foot, pushing down to that front heel, squeezing the inner thighs. And as you're ready, bring your hands up to the right knee. Notice your hips are shifting. And just find that nice stretch. As you're nice and stable, inhale, arms rise, broad through the upper back. Pinkies rotate in towards each other. Inhale deeply into the rib cage, expanding through your potential. Breathing nice and deep. Inhale, feel the crown of the head rise. Exhale, let the left arm come down and lean over. Oh, other way. Sorry. Let the right arm come down and lean up. Reach your left arm up and reach it over. Finding that beautiful space. Legs are nice and strong and stable. Breathing nice and deep. Inhale, let the arm come down. Let's walk our hands around to the front, come back to our wide-legged forward fold, and take a moment. You can place your fingertips so they're facing behind you, and just walk them back, pushing down to the outside edges of the feet. Legs are engaged, and the neck is fully relaxed. So you can check in by shaking it yes and no. Let's walk our hands back over to frame the left foot, back into our low lunge. So wiggle the hips, put energy through that right back heel, pushing down through that front heel. Squeeze the inner thighs together. When you're nice and stable, inhale, rise up, high lunge. Reaching out back through that right heel, pushing down through that left heel, the knee is stacked right over the ankle. Breathing nice and deep. Inhaling with the crown of the head rise. Full exhale. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, let the left hand drift down, and the gaze follows as you come into a gentle twist. Gaze looking over towards the left hand. Legs are nice and stable, reaching out to that right heel. Inhale, sweep that right arm back up. Exhale, rotate the back heel towards perpendicular. Come into your warrior two. So nice long pose. You always want to check in with that front knee. Left knee stacked right over the ankle. And if you need to shorten your stance a little, that's just fine as well. But you want to be able to see your first two toes. And so if your knee is falling in, that's what you don't want. So let your left hand come to the outside of your left knee and just push your knee into your hand. And it's a good action to activate those muscles. And as you're ready and you got your legs lined up, inhale, open your arms up. Inhale, crown of the head rises. Pushing that energy, reaching into the outside edge of the back foot. Pushing down into the front heel, extending through the fingertips and beyond. And take a quick peek down at that knee, see if you can see two toes, the first two toes. Invert the palm, lean forward, and reverse your warrior. Finding the space on the left side. Nice strong legs, opening up through that left side body. Inhale, return to warrior two. Take a quick gander down that those left two toes. And then exhale. Let the left elbow come to the left knee. It's just a placeholder. You're not throwing all your weight in there. And then sweep your right arm up and around. Side angle pose. So re-energize through the legs, the outside edge of the back foot, the front heel. Reaching forward. And if you're really nimble, you can lower that left hand down to a block, or you can just keep it here. Inhale, extend out, warrior two. Again, check in with that front knee. Straighten that front leg, and we're going to shift our right hip back towards the back of the mat. A little funny feeling, so hips shift back as you lean forward, coming into our triangle. Lean a little bit further, nice strong legs, and then rotate your torso so your left hand comes to the outside of your left foot, or calf probably, maybe to a block. Triangle pose. So maintaining this tension, this dynamic tension, pushing down to the feet, the head extends, the arms extend. Breathing nice and deep, nice and stable. Inhale, bend through that front knee. Return to warrior two. Exhale, windmill your hands down, downward facing dog. And pedal it out. And as you're ready, let's step a big step forward with our right foot. And if it lands back here, just grab it and help it walk forward so your knee is right over the ankle. And find that low lunge. Pushing down to the front heel. Pushing out through that back heel. Squeezing with the inner thighs. Inhale, rise up. Nice strong legs. And again, you can adjust your hips. Maybe you can bring your hands and steer your hips a little bit. Just fine tune it all. Reaching out to that left heel, pushing down to that right heel, squeezing the inner thighs, and as you're stable, rise up. Inhale, lengthen to the crown of the head. Reaching out to that back heel. And inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, let your right arm come down, and gaze follows it as you come into a nice twist. And inhale, sweep it back down and around, return to your high lunge, and then spin that back heel, the left heel down to perpendicular, and adjust your stance so your hips are facing the long side of the mat. Check in with your front two toes, and keep that energy, knee stacked right over. And as you're ready, inhale, open up, warrior two. Check down on your front two toes. And just a little energy, right knee pushing into that right hand on the outside edge. Just creating the space you need. Pushing down to the outside edge of the back foot. Then inhale, reach forward a little further, invert your palm, and reverse your warrior. Lean into that front knee, finding that space. Next, in a comfortable position. Inhale, return to warrior two. Check in with that knee, two toes. And exhale, right elbow to right knee. And sweep the left arm up and over. Side angle pose. You can adjust your right arm or just leave it where it is. It's not a weight bearing position, it's just a position holder. Legs are nice and strong. And inhale, return to warrior two. Straighten that front leg. And inhale, feel that full length of the spine. Shift the hips back towards the back of the mat and reach forward. Reach a little bit further and drop that right arm down. Left arm reaches up and find that dynamic strength. Rooting down to the feet, extending through all 10 fingertips, reaching through the crown of the head, creating air space. Breathing nice and deep into the rib cage. Inhale, return to warrior two, full extension, perfect form with the legs. Exhale, swing the hands down, downward facing dog. And paddle it out. Very nice. And let's come down to our knees and we'll sweep our legs in front of us. We'll come into a forward fold. So we're going to have to engage those quadriceps. So turn them on and off so you know what it feels like. And so you can feel those quadriceps and flex your toes back towards you and engage. I'm going to come into a staff pose. So place your hands next to you. Some people like to use blocks right next to them and find that dynamism. So flex through all the body, lengthen through the crown of the head, open chest without collapsing through the back. And exhale, release it. Wiggle a little bit. And we'll return. Inhale, crown of the head rises. Arms rise up. Then exhale, lead with the crown of the head. And when you're about halfway down, you're not getting too much more flex, let your hands come down next to your legs and find a nice fold. Whether you can find your toes or the outside edges of your legs. And by keeping the quadriceps on, you can release the hamstrings a little bit more. And with each inhale, you can rise out, come out of the pose just slightly and lengthen up. And then the exhale, you can dive a little deeper. Continuing to breathe. Inhale, and let the hands help you back up to seated. We're going to take our right knee, or right foot. We're going to place it over the left side. And so we got to adjust our seat a little bit, the glutes. Just to maybe squeeze them and release them. And just try and get it so both sit bones are on the mat. It's never perfect, but... And so we're going to inhale and lengthen up. We're just going to let the left hand come behind us. Then we'll go to the other side. So inhale, lengthen up. Let the left arm come around the knee, or maybe to the outside, whatever's comfortable for you. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, right hand comes behind us. Find your twist. Drawing the low rib cage back behind us, looking over the opposite shoulder. You're twisting from the core rather than too much yanking. We have some leverage, but we don't have to use it all. Inhale, unwind. And let's come into a cow face pose. So it's not possible for everybody, particularly myself. Bend that bottom, that straight leg, and just left ankle's over right knee. And this is it. Trying to be balanced through the hips. Cow face pose. And so it looks a lot different on different people. So wherever you're at, breathing nice and deep. And then inhale, unwind, let it go. Let your legs come out in front of you. We'll do it again. So find our staff pose, wiggle it out, release the glutes, shake the shoulders, and place your hands down beside you. Flex your toes back towards the body, push down. Inhale, crown of the head rises. And release. And we'll re-engage. Inhale, rise. And let your arms come up. Pinkies rotated in towards each other. And so you can feel that broadening across the back. And then exhale and fold. Slowly with the crown of your head. When you're halfway down, just let it come to be. And if you can reach your toes, that's fine. If you can't, that's also fine. Paschimottanasana. Breathing nice and deep. Quadriceps are engaged. And inhale, walk the hands back. We're going to take the twist to the opposite side. So I think the left foot steps over, and take a moment to wiggle out the seat. And let's let the right hand come behind us. Just find that gentle twist. And then inhale. You can wrap your right arm around your right knee. Or maybe take the elbow to the outside of the knee. I'm going to take the easy one today, personally. So inhale, sit up nice and tall. Then exhale, place that left hand behind you and reach back with that low rib cage. Twisting from the core. Breathing nice and deep. Inhale, unwind. Let's come onto our backs and just take a few moments and bring the soles of our feet back together. And wiggle, let them go side to side. Squeeze the glutes. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. You can rub your jaw. Just let it all relax. Sink into the earth. Just take a moment and let it all process. And if you have a different pose you'd like to take, you're always welcome. Just find a moment of stillness. We'll take one more twist together. So extend that left leg out. Draw your right knee up to the chest. Left hand comes to the outside of the right knee and draw it over to the left, lifting your hips to adjust and help the spine unwind. Inhale, draw it back to center. We'll extend that right leg and draw the left knee up. Take the right hand to the outside of the left knee and draw it over to the right, lifting the hips, helping the spine unwind. The full body, just relaxing into it. Inhale, unwind. Draw both knees to the chest and give yourself a big hug. And then extend the legs. Let your arms come up over the body. Interlace the hands, invert the palms, flex the toes back towards the body. Push out through your heels, push out through the palms, full body stretch. Then exhale, bring the knees to the chest and roll to one side. You can use your upper arm as a pillow and take a full round of breath. And then help yourself up using both hands and come to a comfortable seat. Draw your hands to heart center. We'll close practice with 3 rounds of breath. Joining together in one full exhale. Inhale through the nose, crown of the head rises. Open the mouth. Inhale, rise. Inhale, rise. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. The spirit in me recognizes and respects the spirit in you. Namaste.